And Alex M says, Jason is, and both she and Jessica groan and shake their heads. And Alex H says, he's gross. And I'm so proud of these girls for getting over Jason.
Yes.
We are in a different place than last year.
The world is healing.
Yes.
Jessica and Alex break bread.
I love that. Hello and welcome to Season 3 of Millennial TV and Season 3 of Laguna Beach. If you have stuck with us this long, I am so happy you're here. We've had such a good time with Seasons 1 and 2, and we know we're going to have just as much fun recapping Season 3 for you guys. If you're new here, hi, we're your Millennial TV hosts, Candace,
Liz,
and Adrian.
And we're here to bring you all the reality TV goodness from the millennial era. If you're not already following us on Instagram, please do. We always post our favorite outfits on release day and other fun extras like polls and sneak peeks of episodes, and we love interacting with you guys. Give us a follow at Millennial TV. That's TEAV. If you know us, you know we love surprises, so we're excited to welcome our special guest this week, Jill Badlotto. And Jill is going to be joining us as we share our thoughts on the episode this week. And if you don't know, Jill has a huge platform on TikTok and Instagram where she talks about everything reality TV, especially from our favorite era, the millennial era. And if you're not following her, you definitely should be. I love her content, and I thought she'd be a great fit for a guest spot on our podcast. So before we get into the episode, I thought it would be fun to have Jill tell us a little bit about herself and her history with reality TV and her platform.
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for being here.
Yes.
I've just been obsessed with reality TV since I feel like I can remember. And Laguna Beach, I graduated high school in 2005, so I kind of felt like I was going through what they were going through watching it. I was like, oh, me and Lauren, we would be best friends. Like she doesn't know it yet.
Yep.
And then just watching it back as an adult has been so much fun because you have such a different perspective on it.
Yeah.
And then I kind of just one day, I was really, really sick and I was laying in bed. And for some reason, I was like, where is Elodie from The Hills? Which was like,
yes,
Heidi Montag's coworker.
Fake coworker.
Yeah, she just like popped in my brain, and I was like, where is she? And so I just like started Googling Elodie, and I found out like, you know, she did like all of this stuff, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna share that on TikTok. Like maybe there's someone else who like wonders where Elodie is, and I just like uploaded the video thinking that probably nobody else would watch it, and sure enough, there's people out there that are, you know, curious where everyone is.
I love it.
So.
It all starts with like this just curiosity and like love of trash reality TV.
Yes. Yeah. Like those little reality TV moments that just like live in your brain forever.
Yes.
I can't remember what I ate, you know, this morning, but I can absolutely remember Elodie, what she was wearing when she told us Heidi, like, you know.
And don't you love that you're like Elodie and we're all like,
Yes, exactly.
We all know.
I didn't even need to explain who Elodie is.
When I started this podcast, I literally thought like there's no way there's other people in the world that are like this with this TV show. Like I've literally seen it thousands of times. Like I know exactly like what outfit they wear in what episode. Like, show me a scene from an episode. I'm like, that's the episode where Jessica, exactly. I'm like, I know all of these things, and it's like, it seems like useless information and nobody else is going to care. And like, I found my people. Like this is this is my dream in life, to be able to just talk like shit about reality TV. Like this is my dream. I absolutely am so blessed. The next step is getting paid for it. Like I just
I agree. It's the best.
Yeah. Well, we are super thrilled to have you and can't wait to hear your thoughts on the episode.
I can't wait.
We are recapping Laguna Beach Season 3, Episode 1, The Thrill of the Hunt, which already just brings you into it. Like we're going in a whole new era. Like this is the Kyndra and Cami era.
This is their show.
Yeah, it is. It really is. So, first thing we get is our classic introduction, we get the title card. It says this was filmed over an 8-month period, and the people, the places, and the drama are real. And seeing it is so familiar, and they play the same little jingle, and then it's a completely unfamiliar voice that's welcoming us to Laguna Beach, and we are introduced to Tessa for the first time, who is the absolute polar opposite of both our former narrators, Kristen and Lauren. Tessa has long dark hair, and she's super tan, gorgeous, but just totally different than what we're used to. And Tessa tells us that her senior year was pretty much nonstop drama before she introduces us to her crew, starting with her best friend, Raquel. Or she says some people call her Rocky. And Rocky looks more like the girls we're typically met with, the blonde hair and the sunny face. And Tessa tells us that she couldn't have gotten through high school without her. Next is Chase, and he's described as Laguna's very own rock star. And Tessa says they've been friends forever, and everyone thought they'd end up together. And then we have Kellen, who is Chase's best friend and part rock star, part jock, and a total hottie. And then rounding out the boys, we get introduced to Cameron, a player who is even hooking up with Jessica. Yes, that Jessica.
She's back.
Yeah, I seriously always loved this so much. When I saw it for the first time, I was just excited to see Jessica. Like, I needed a familiar face so bad.
Totally.
Yeah.
It was so refreshing to see her again.
Yes.
But I was already irritated that Tessa didn't say her name with a good connotation. I'm like, put some respect on Jessica's name. Jessica is that bitch. Like, you don't even know. Like, it just, like, in my soul, I was just like, Jessica is that bitch.
And it's Jessica.
Yeah, Jessica.
The Kristen one.
Yes.
Jessica.
Yeah, like, put some respect on her name, Tessa, but it's okay. I understand for the connotation of this season, we don't like Jessica, but I still like Jessica, so.
She's an OG.
Wait, in season 3?
Yeah, I feel like Kyndra doesn't like her, obviously.
Yes, yes. They don't like her, but I feel like the audience is still on her side because, like, she's, like, familiar to us, you know?
Yes, yeah, definitely.
But then I have something to say later. We'll get there once they start, like, going on their date.
Yeah,
But, okay,
yeah.
we'll wait.
So then we get introduced to the quote-unquote popular girls. So first is Cami, and she's introduced as the queen of mean. Yeah, I'm like, whew, that's rough. And then Tessa says she went out of her way to make her life miserable. And automatically, I think this sounds so harsh because we didn't really have mean girls in the previous 2 seasons. Like,
not like them.
Not like that.
Mm-mm.
Like, not in the way that, like, people were trying to, like, make other people miserable. Like, it just didn't exist.
Right.
Like, they were all just kind of part of the same friend group. Like, there was no popular girls and not popular girls. So, yeah. So then we have Lexi, who we see dancing, and Tessa calls her the Ice Princess and says it really bothered her how she thought she was better than everyone. With this introduction, I expected so much more from Lexi, and we get almost nothing.
I know.
Nothing,
I know.
yeah.
I'm, like, so shocked that she's even on the title card because, like,
Yeah.
she didn't have a lot of story.
Yeah, and I mean, she's really pretty, but
That's it.
yeah. Like, we don't get any storyline. Yeah. And next up is Brianna Conrad, Lauren's sister, and she's introduced as Elsie's little sister, and Tessa says she was so jealous of Tessa's friendship with Rocky. And then lastly, we get Kyndra, who is described as the leader of the popular clique, and Tessa says that they used to be friends, but Kyndra turned her back on her when she needed her the most. And Tessa says that they thought they owned the school, but this was the year that she decided to step up and start playing the game by her rules. Like, it's just so much to unpack. It starts out with a bang, and again, everything feels so much cattier than season 1 and 2. It's like a shock to your system, kind of. New cast and new way to play the, like, old high school games, kind of. When you guys watched this for the first time, well, first of all, did you guys watch this when it aired?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what was your first thought on the new cast? I'm just curious.
I didn't like it because of how much, like, I don't know, we just grew to love Lauren, Steven, Kristen, that crew so much that, like, seeing a new group of people that were completely unrelated to them just felt so weird. And so it was like automatically I, like, repelled this cast, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think all of Laguna Beach fans kind of have the same opinion that like season 1 and 2 were the best.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't necessarily say my opinion has changed, but it will be fun to go through and like watch this together and really like unpack every single scene.
Mm-hmm.
Same. It's such a different vibe, like just right off the bat. It just doesn't feel friendly to me. It just feels mean.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm scared of everyone.
Yeah.
But I really don't remember like much of the last half of the season. I feel like I watched that just once and not really ever again. I've seen the first like 3 or 4 episodes a bunch of times. So it'll be interesting to see what happens because I honestly don't remember.
Yeah, it felt very catty, like right off the bat. And the first season and the second season of Laguna Beach, it was catty, but I think it was more like fun catty.
Yeah, it was different.
This felt like, oh my God, like I want to be away from these girls. Like, even now in my 30s, I'm like, oh my God.
I know.
Guys,
They're
same.
mean.
I know.
They're so mean.
Seriously.
I've seen this season twice in total, like all the way through. And I think the first time when it aired, I was like giving it a chance. Like I really wanted more Laguna Beach. So I was like, you know, it's all right. And I think The Hills was airing at the same time. So I was like kind of watching that too. And I think I was like, oh, Tessa's interesting just because she looks so different than what we're used to. And I was like, oh, this will be like a different kind of story. And then the party that happens in this episode happened. And I was kind of like, what? Lauren and Kristen didn't like each other, but they were just quiet about it. So it's a totally different season. But I'm excited to get into it because again, I've seen season 1 and 2 over 100 times, probably both, like, and season 3 I've only seen twice. And I really don't remember almost anything that happens after episode 1. So I am,
same.
Yeah.
Wait, I want to ask you guys, who of the guys did you guys think were cute when you were watching this season?
I think that Kellen is cute.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
Same.
Gun to my head, I would say Kellen, but honestly, none of them.
How about Chase?
Nah.
Yeah.
Same.
Jill, were you into any of them?
They're all cute. Like they're like none of them were ugly.
No.
But
right.
Kellen was like watching. I was like, okay, Kellen is like the guy I would go for. And he seemed the least like drama.
Problematic.
Yes.
The most normal.
Yeah.
But
he was like barbecuing in this episode, you know? He's making burgers for everyone. That's so nice.
But there's just no like Steven or like Jason. Yeah. There's just no that guy, I think.
Yeah.
They really tried to make Cameron that guy.
I know.
Like they're really shoving him down our throats that way. But
I know, and literally every single person in the episode can't stop talking about how hot he is, and I'm like, I don't see it.
Yeah. Steven had like this, I don't know, it was like he wasn't trying and he was just kind of adorable. And his
boy next door charm.
Yeah.
Like a dorky kind of cuteness. Yeah.
You wanted to like strangle him because he was playing these two girls, but at the same time, like a part of you loved him.
Yeah.
Cameron, I was just like, you're a douche.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I hate Steven. I'm not shy about it. And we recently got a review that said, Candace hates Steven and it's really annoying when she talks about him all the time. And I was like, fair.
Yeah, she sent it to us. She's like, I'm like,
no regrets. It's true. So yeah, that's a thing I have. But honestly, I hate him as an adult, but I really loved him as a young girl.
Yeah.
16-year-old Candace was all about Steven, and adult Candace is not about Steven, but that's okay.
Fair.
Okay, so after our introduction, we get the theme song, which has everybody from the introduction in it, and it's the same good old Hilary Duff song that we love. Then the first scene is Rocky and Tessa hanging out on the beach, and they're sunbathing, and Tessa tells Rocky that Kyndra texted her, and Rocky says, that's a little random. And Tessa just says that Kyndra wants her to go to her barbecue, and then Rocky says, well, are you going to go? And Tessa says she doesn't even know if it would be fun, and that Rocky says she should go just to see what happens. Rocky then says that she doesn't understand the point of a clique and says, why would you want to have your one clique and no one else can come in and no one can go out? Tessa says she's not going to go to the barbecue unless Rocky does. And Rocky says, would it be really lame if she just showed up clearly uninvited? And Tessa says, no, it won't because she'll be with Tessa. And Tessa says, it's okay. We'll go for the boys. I think the reason this feels cattier and meaner is just the underlying thing that Kyndra and Cami clique abandoned Tessa because of her illness, which is what she kind of hints at in the introduction with saying that Kyndra abandoned her when she needed her most. And obviously, like, no one knows the true story, but I did find a snippet from an article where Tessa goes into detail about her illness and she kind of sheds light on why there's like a divide in the cliques, and I kind of wanted to share it with you guys. So she was diagnosed with Stevens-Johnson syndrome, which is a rare life-threatening allergic reaction to medications or viruses that cause lesions to form on your skin and mucous membranes, which sounds incredibly painful and terrible. And she says that she was in so much pain that they put her in a medically induced coma, and she woke up on a ventilator in the burn unit, and there were no mirrors, so she couldn't see what she looked like. Her skin was discolored, her nails were falling off, her eyelashes were gone, and her hair had been cut off to treat sores on her scalp. Her lips were bloody, and she was being fed through her nose. She said that she was in shock. She felt like she had everything and it had been taken away. And then after that, she felt like all of her friends were busy and never returned her calls. And later she heard that the other girls had said it wasn't because she was sick, but because she had been mean to them. And she didn't know when she would have had the chance because they barely talked to her after she got sick. And she couldn't do things she used to, like go on long shopping trips or go to the beach because she couldn't be out in the sun, but they never invited her. And she said that if she ever got sick again, she knows her current best friend, Raquel, would be there every single day. That's why she's not sad anymore about losing her old friends, because she knows who her real friends are. And the girl she's speaking about in specifics is apparently a girl named Tara, who's in a few brief scenes in season 3. But I also think she's talking specifically about Kyndra, Cami, and Brianna, in my personal opinion. I don't know, obviously, but I think that kind of has a lot to do with it. And it makes me feel so terrible for her.
Totally.
Knowing all of that background, especially like when you're that young and hospitalized, you're like terrified.
Yeah.
The most important thing in the world to you is your appearance. And of course, she couldn't help the fact that this was happening to her. And then all your friends abandon you at the same time. Like, what a horrible high school experience, like, to have to go through. I kind of think with high school girls, it's hard to deal with adult stuff like that. So you just kind of shut down, and sometimes it turns into being mean. And I think that's what happened here, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They just didn't know how to handle it. So being mean was easier, maybe.
Which is so unfortunate because,
Tessa,
I mean, from what we know, like, didn't do anything to them. If it really was, like, awkwardness, like, that's really bad.
Yeah,
really
I know.
sad.
It's really messed up, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I always think about, like, when things come out like this about past reality shows, you think about how much social media would have changed things. Because imagine if social media was around and she would have been able to kind of share what she went through.
Yeah.
I imagine public opinion would have changed drastically on Cami and Kyndra.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
you know, for kind of leaving her in a time like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I always wondered why they never put that in the show, because, like, they always left it so ominous, and, like, the audience was left to wonder, like, what happened to her.
Yeah.
I wish they put something of what happened to her in the show.
Yeah.
That was an article that was actually released like right after the show aired. It was in 17 magazine. So it wasn't like a secret. Like, it came out right after. So I'm not sure why they didn't include it in the show.
Yeah.
That's weird.
And
Yeah.
maybe Tessa didn't want to at the time. I'm not sure. But at this point, I'm like, reality TV producers don't care if you want to include something or not, you know? But back then, I feel like it was different. They kind of did. Like, you know, like with Alex H telling us, you know, about what was going on with her dad, the producers never even asked to put it on television.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
you know, it was kind of different back then, because now I feel like they'd be like, oh, that's going on television. You get in the confessional and you tell us about that, you know? Like, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel it definitely makes me feel extra bad for Tessa, and I am glad that she has Rocky, because could you imagine going through high school completely alone?
No.
I'm glad she has Chase and Rocky. So the next scene we get is Kyndra and Cami, and they are shopping, and we are introduced to them as they're walking into a clothing store. And Kyndra says, believe it or not, I actually have homework today. And Cami replies, I didn't know that you had homework. And Kyndra says, apparently. I was laughing because they never talk about school or homework on this show really ever. And
you forget they're in school.
Yeah.
It's always so flippant until Lauren's failing her classes.
Yeah.
First thing I noticed in the scene is how deep V-neck Kyndra's tank top is. And I'm like, she did not wear that to school because she would have gotten sent home and dress coded. And and it looks like the original song for this scene was supposed to be I'm Bossy by Khalees. And that is so fitting. I watched it on Paramount Plus and it was a completely different song.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It was bossy for me when I watched it.
Yeah, they replaced the music. The subtitles still have the original lyrics. So I'm like, weird. That's like bossy. Yeah. And I loved that song when I was in high school. So I was like, that's so fitting for like the two of them walking in. Mm-hmm. So Cami asks Kyndra if she's excited about her barbecue. And she says, I'm always excited about our barbecues. And then Cami asks her who she invited. And Kyndra says, Candace, Rachel, Lexi, and Chase. And I'm so pumped that I'm like name dropped in this episode. Just kidding.
You were invited to that barbecue?
I know. I was invited to the barbecue. No, there's another Candace. And I don't know if I like sharing a name with her after this barbecue. But she says that she randomly saw Tessa and sent her a text inviting her to the barbecue. And Cami says, that's super random. Why'd you do that? And Kyndra says that she doesn't know because maybe they used to be friends. And Cami says, yeah, like a long time ago. And Kyndra says, where's the love, Cami? And then shows her a shirt and says it's perfect for her. And the shirt says, where is the love? She asks her, you don't like Tessa? And it's like so mean. Like this whole scene is just so mean.
Yeah.
And Cami says, is she going to bring her little friend Raquel or something?
That drives me crazy.
Even the way she says Raquel.
I know.
So mean. Yeah.
I know.
She can't get her name right.
No.
And then Kyndra says she wasn't invited, so that would be weird if she brought her, wouldn't it? And Cami says, seriously. And then they start talking about boys and which boys are coming. Kyndra says, like all of them. And Cami says that they need to take a dip in the testosterone pool.
Gross.
Yeah. I know.
Just sounds gross.
I was like, what the heck? I feel like Kristen and Lauren never talked like that at all.
No.
That like really took me back. I was like, that's like not okay.
The personalities are so different. Like it's it's a shock to your
They're
system.
trying too hard. Like I feel that.
Yes.
But you have to remember they were cast on this show and they already had a picture in their head of what the show was like back then. And I think they wanted to one-up it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
to get to another level.
Yeah, it might have not worked in the way that they wanted it to work.
Totally. Like I want to watch the season having an appreciation for how much, like how extreme they went with this like mean girl persona. But if this was like real them in high school, it probably wasn't very nice to all of the recipients of this mean girl persona. But I will watch it this season.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to try to watch through that lens.
So, Jill, we kind of all know what our archetype in high school was just from talking to each other. What was yours? Were you a mean girl? Were you like a theater kid?
Say it. Admit it.
I think I was a nice girl.
I don't see you being a mean girl, but
yeah, I feel like I was friends with everyone.
Yeah,
I feel like I was kind of into like emo music, oddly, which I do not come across. Yeah. But so I would go to like emo shows on like a Friday, but then on a Saturday I would also do like the preppy things with my preppy friends. So I feel like I was kind of like a good mix. I mean, I look back and I'm like, okay, if I had a daughter and she was that personality, I think I'd be all right with it.
Yeah.
I was super preppy, but I also did theater, and I loved emo music too. People used to say like I was too preppy to listen to emo music, and I used to get really mad. I'm like, I can listen to whatever I want to listen to in my sparkly pants, you know? Like I don't.
You got to be well-rounded.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I was like, I didn't really do many like extracurricular activities, but I was weather girl.
Oh, how fun!
Wait, what's that?
Like I reported on the weather at
what?
for
Do you guys have that?
We had that, and I feel like that is, you know, something I'm very proud of.
That's amazing.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we did not have that at all, but I would have loved to do something like that. That's amazing.
Same.
I mean, living in Florida, it was like, it's probably going to rain this weekend. You're welcome. That was basically my whole thing.
Oh, I love it. So Kyndra then says that Cameron is an all-around good guy, cute, athletic, funny. And then Cami says, and Kyndra has a crush on him. And she says she heard a rumor that Jessica and Cameron are hooking up. And Kyndra says, whatever. And Cami says she thinks that it will be so funny when Jessica's friends come back into town and give her shit. And Kyndra said, it will be sad. And then Cami says, poor Jessica. And Kyndra says, story of her life.
So mean.
So mean.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad because we have a couple episodes called Poor Jessica, but like, just season 2 was rough on her, okay?
Yeah.
I feel bad for Jessica. I was always team Elsie, even, I mean, when she kissed Jason, I wanted to jump through the screen.
Absolutely.
But also, you can't help but feel bad for Jessica. And then when she's introduced like this in this episode, like, oh no, I almost wanted her to not be on this season because I was like, Jessica, move on.
Yeah,
exactly.
I know.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
I think we all felt that way. Like, we just wanted her to be able to. I think it was because she was like one of the only ones still living in Laguna and she didn't go off to college. And they were like, well, we need somebody to tie it to what the show is. It can't be a completely new cast.
Yeah.
And then she just happened to be that person and kind of sucks. But yeah, it's like the last person you want her to be with is a junior in high school.
No, I can't believe it's a junior.
Yeah.
That's the bit I was thinking about. I'm like, if it was like an older guy dating a junior girl, like we would think it's weird.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I actually didn't really like bat an eye when it came to Jessica dating a junior boy. Like it felt very normal. But watching it this time, I'm like, ooh,
yeah. It's not.
I mean, imagine being a freshman in college and then dating a junior in high school. I would have been like, oh my God, no.
I couldn't imagine being out of high school and ever dating anyone still in high school. But Jessica she's a one of a kind. So the next scene is all of our old favorite girls, Jessica, Alex M, Alex H, and Taylor. And they're all driving around Laguna, and Alex H and Alex M are in the same car together, and they're jamming out, and it's totally super cute. And I think the song is Ashley Simpson.
Yes.
Okay.
LOVE. It was on mine. I thought you were going to call that out, but not if it changed on Paramount.
It changed, but then Alex M was singing it as they were walking in.
It.
And I was like, oh, they must have been listening to that in the car because it was like silent as they're dancing.
Mine too.
Oh,
yeah.
Weird.
So weird.
Like, so this is what I look like when people are like driving by.
Yes, yeah.
And they see me in my car.
I know. It's me with the new Taylor album. Just like
same.
Jamming
Poets Department. Except with tears.
Yeah, and like screaming the lyrics. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the girls are meeting up for lunch. And Alex H immediately starts off with, I don't want to sound mean at all, but I saw a picture of Lauren and Jason, and I think they both gained a little weight.
Yikes.
So Jessica jumps in and says, oh, I was going to say that. And then Alex M says, Jason is, and both she and Jessica groan and shake their heads. And Alex H says, he's gross. And I'm so proud of these girls for getting over Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We are in a different place than last year.
The world is healing.
Yes.
Jessica and Alex break bread.
I love that. So they joke about how last year Alex and Jessica were fighting. Now they're all at lunch together. And Jessica says it's over and they're all a happy family. And Alex says that Taylor asked if she was going to hang out with Alex and Kristen when she was in LA. And then she said no. And now she lives with Alex H. And Alex H says that the whole situation living with Kristen just wasn't for her. And Jessica asks her if she's talked to Kristen at all, and Alex says no, which I remember was such a shock for me when I saw this for the first time, because I thought there was no way ever that Alex and Kristen would not be friends.
Yeah.
I just didn't see that ever happening, so I was shocked to my core, but we know from Alex that it just wasn't the vibes.
Yeah. I mean, at the time I was like, oh my gosh, I need to ask them what happened and how freaking cool that we were able to do so.
I know.
So awesome.
That was awesome. It was mostly that Kristen was doing a lot of crazy things in LA, like being in music videos and making a name for herself. And Alex didn't really have a place yet and couldn't find her footing.
Which is difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense to me. I would have been miserable living with somebody who was doing so much better than me in terms of like the Hollywood industry as well. That would be frustrating.
Oh, yeah.
So, but it's good for her that she moved in with Alex M, which is exciting because at least she had another friend out there. Because could you imagine being stranded in LA?
No.
Jessica asked them if they're going to Kendra's barbecue, and Alex says she thinks it's really lame to go to a high school party, and so do I. And Taylor says there's no one there that she wants to see how they are because she doesn't care. And Jessica smiles, which obviously means that there is somebody going that she cares about. And Alex M says who? And Alex H spells out Cameron. And Alex M says Junior Cameron. Oh, geez, Jessica. And Jessica just laughs. And I think we all feel the OG's Jessica after we are reminded that he's a junior in high school.
Yes.
Ugh. So then we see Cameron and Kellen playing basketball, and Kellen asks if Cameron's going to Kendra's, and Cameron says that he is and that Kyndra is cool. And Kellen asks him if he has talked to Kyndra and Jessica yet, and Cameron just says, it's such a bad situation. And Kellen says, oh, I feel really bad for you, Cameron. 2 chicks want to go out with you. And Kellen asks what he's doing tonight, and Cameron says he's going to go to dinner with Jessica and that he'll call them when he's done to let them know his status and if he is coming over. And Kellen says that he won't hold his breath.
You know, when I saw the scene, it was so reminiscent of like Steven and his buddies like playing golf, right? Like, and I was just like reminded of how boring the men were on the show. And I'm like, honestly, the girls make the show. Okay,
They do.
Yes, it's true.
I'm such a man hater, but I'm like, oh my god, they're so boring every time we get like a boys
They
scene.
are.
Just like next.
It's always like, Kendra's cool. Like,
Yeah.
And like, to be fair, high school boys don't have much of a capacity to say much more than that. Like, like, you know, like they're like, I don't know, like her hair is always different, you know, like they don't,
Yeah.
they don't have much to say. So, I mean, good for him. Kendra's cool. I don't know. I always think it's so funny because you can always tell the boys scenes are the most set up because boys do not sit around talking like that.
Yeah.
Like they just don't do it. And it's always so awkward.
This set me up for disappointment because I thought boys really did sit around talking about their feelings until I grew up.
Yeah. News flash, Adrian. That does not happen.
They do not.
No, they don't. They literally just play Grand Theft Auto.
That would have been more realistic.
Yeah,
like,
it would have
if
been.
they
Yeah.
were,
Playing
or
video
like Call of
games.
Duty. You
Yeah.
know? That would have been
or
way
what was
more
popular
realistic.
back then? World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
like more the guys that I was going to high school with, unfortunately.
I know that was like the nerdy version of like all the other games, right? Like that was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Jessica and Cameron go to dinner and we see them walking in and they're walking into a sushi restaurant called Mosun, I think. And they're sitting at the bar. But before that, Cameron tells her that she should have stayed in the car because he would have opened the car door for her. And Jessica just kind of rolls her eyes and says, yeah, okay. Which makes me sad because it means that she's not used to that. And I think boys should always open the doors for girls. I think it's sweet.
Wait, do you think he was being sarcastic though?
No. Did you?
Oh.
I thought he was.
Oh,
I thought he was too.
I thought he was
Like, wait,
joking.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I misread that. I thought he was being sweet. My bad.
No.
I don't think I was looking at the screen. I think I was typing at the time. So I didn't see his expression. I just heard it. So Cameron tells Jessica he's stoked that they're hanging out, and Jessica says, me too. And then she asks him about school and girls, and he says he's over school and that he doesn't really hang out with girls, which I call bullshit on. And Jessica then says, because you're hanging out with me. And then she tells him she has fun with him, and Cameron's phone goes off. And Jessica starts to go through it and tells him, sorry, I was just looking at Kendra's text messages. And Cameron says that there's nothing in there except for Kyndra asking if he's going to her party. And Jessica says that there was a text that said, Are you going to bail on me for Jessica? But Cameron totally denies it. And then he starts watching sports, and Jessica rolls her eyes so far into the back of her head, it's not even funny. And this scene drives me absolutely nuts. It puts Jessica right back into her Jason era. And Cameron is immature and doing exactly to her what Jason did. And I was literally screaming, move on, Jessica. We just want more for her. She deserves more, and she doesn't need to be going through anybody's phone.
Yeah, and she doesn't have to keep going back to like these types of guys, you know, like we just want her to find better.
Yes.
Yeah. I will say, though, this is why I love Jessica, because other girls would be like hiding the fact that they're going through his phone. And she's just like, no, I'm going through your phone and I am reading Kyndra's texts. I know. No shame on national television. She's like, I am that girl. Yes, I am doing it.
Yeah. And I love that she actually finds a text message about her.
Yeah.
Shows it to him. Yeah.
Like, Jessica is the girl that if you're like, I think my boyfriend might be cheating, she would be like, give me an hour and I will have
You're so right.
Yeah.
You're so right. That's
you need
so
a girl
accurate.
like that.
Yes, 100%. So Jessica says that they'll never get anything accomplished because Cameron keeps bringing up different subjects every time they try to have a conversation. And then she says that guys just suck and they all lie and connive. And Cameron asks her who gave her that impression. And she says, do you know who my ex-boyfriend is? Fair. Like, fair. I'm not even going to hold that against her. Jason is awful. And then Cameron tells her she can't base an opinion on the worst specimen. And Jessica says she doesn't care, but she learned a lot from him. And then Cameron asks her to repeat herself because he wasn't paying attention. And she says she's not going to repeat herself, which I'm very proud of her for doing. And then she asks him if he's going to Kyndra's, and he nods. And then MTV does my absolute favorite editing trick and just mashes together clips of them looking at each other and looking off into the distance and looking at each other again and looking around the restaurant with music playing in the background. So then we get a sneak peek into Chase's band practice. And again, I think this band is called Open Air Stereo. And I don't know if they ever got really off the ground. I think they had a couple music videos right after the show.
They're on Spotify, actually.
Are they?
Yeah, they're not great, but I looked them up. Yeah. Oh. You know what they sound like to me? They sound like if you are going to go see like an actual like punk band, like Fall Out Boy or something. They're like the crappy opening band that plays first that you have to like sit through and you're just like, when is this going to be over? And then the real show starts. Like that's the vibe that I got. So you're not missing out. Sorry, Chase.
Yeah. Yeah, I always remember watching this show being like, I can't understand what they're saying, like, in their music.
Yeah.
Like, so, I don't know. But Tessa is visiting him at band practice, and Chase takes a break to hang out with her, and she tells him that the band just keeps getting better and better. And Chase asks if she's going to go to Kyndra's, and she says she's worried that she's going to feel out of place, even though she used to spend every day at that house. And then there's Rocky, and Kyndra and Rocky don't really know each other. I hate that feeling when you used to be really close to somebody and you're going to go hang out with them again and you have no idea how it's going to go. I absolutely hate that feeling. And I honestly, my anxiety would have gotten the better of me and I wouldn't have gone.
Same.
I know. I just wouldn't go.
Yeah.
I would have been like, I'm going up until the very last second. And then I would have just stayed home.
And what a guy thing to say when he says, just go and see what happens. Just go and see what happens. Like,
yeah, like no big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, you have no idea.
Yeah.
The mean girl antics at play here.
Exactly.
So Tessa explains that her and Kyndra used to hang out a lot and then they drifted away. And then Tessa says that girls are so mean. And Chase says girls are sketchy. I mean, he's not wrong. High school girls are sketchy. So after all of this build up to Kendra's barbecue, because I feel like nobody has talked about anything else this entire episode, we finally get to Kendra's house. And we see them setting up for the barbecue. And Candace, who is not me, but has my name, asks who is going to actually barbecue the food. And Kyndra says Kellen is her barbecue boy. And all the girls then talk about how hot Cameron got over the summer. So we then see everyone start to arrive, including Brianna and Lexi. And Kellen starts barbecuing. And Cameron arrives. And the popular girls are super excited that the boys got there. And they all shout and catcall. And Cameron tells Kyndra he's going to make her breakfast sometime. And Kyndra gets excited and says, tomorrow. And they're totally flirting. And then we see Tessa and Rocky arriving. And Cami says, Tessa brought Raquel. And we see Kyndra immediately, her entire like body language changes. And she's like, nope, they're not coming in. It's about to be a girl fight. So Tessa and Rocky walk in and Kendra's like, there's someone here I don't want here. Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Oh, so mean.
It is really mean, but I feel like I was this dramatic sometimes in high school. Like if I didn't like someone. I do. Like I really feel like I would have been like, I wouldn't have been this open about it, I think, but I would have been like telling my friends like, ew, I don't want them here. You know what I mean? Like,
oh,
but
totally. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But not like where they could hear you saying
no,
it.
she's way too bold about it, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get it. I would have been this dramatic, and I probably
But you wouldn't say this next line.
No, but I would have called them Rocky and Bullwinkle behind their back, absolutely. So she says she's super pissed, and her friends tell her that she needs to be like, bitches leave, which I would have never had the courage to do. Oh my God.
The courage, or it just wouldn't come out? It wouldn't come from you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say that, but like, even if I wanted to, like, I would have never said that to somebody.
Totally.
Like, I just could never do that, even if I was like thinking it in my head. So Tessa tells Rocky that Lexi keeps giving her the worst looks ever and glaring at her. And we kind of see it, but I don't think Lexi was really looking at her.
Yeah, we don't see like evidence of that.
Yeah. I'm like, I wonder if she really was. So Cami tells Candace that Tessa is so annoying and that she sits next to her and all she hears is meh, 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 meh. Yeah. Meh, 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 meh. And Candace calls her a bitch. A bulimic bitch, maybe? Is this that scene?
Oh, yeah.
Is that what she says?
Yeah, okay. She
Really?
calls
Wow.
she calls her a bulimic bitch.
Did they bleep that out?
They did, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
not in mine.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And Candace is scary.
She is.
I was scared of her.
Yeah.
And I think she encourages Kyndra and Cami. Like, I don't know. They say Kendra's the ringleader, but I think it was Candace.
I agree.
She's vicious.
Yes. Like, who says that? Like, that's really awful. And I'm sure, like, now that she would be like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. That was so mean. Like, as an adult, you just gain hindsight and you're like, oh my God, that was the meanest thing I could have ever said to somebody. And I'm sure that she's gained hindsight on that. But when you're on television, you got to be careful, man. Everything is just encapsulated forever. Like, you can't get rid of that. So, I mean, yeah, I'm always shocked by that. Always shocked by this whole scene. And Kyndra walks over to them and she says, what are my two favorite bitches doing? And Candace replies, talking shit, which relatable because me too. And on the other side of the party, we see Brianna and Rocky talking, and Rocky says she's sensing a little bit of a separation, and Brianna agrees with her. Back to Kyndra, she says that she's fine with the cliques, and Candace points to Tessa and Rocky and is like, yeah, I'm talking about you. And I feel bad for Tessa and Rocky because, first of all, I'd have been shaking in my boots. Like, I would have thought she was going to, like, beat me up.
That is the energy, though.
Yes.
I feel like if cameras weren't there, they would totally, like, spit on them or, like, you know, like, really provoke them.
Yes. Like, I would have been really scared. And when when you are that, like, yeah, I'm talking about you, like, that's really, like, aggressive, you know? So Kyndra then says that she's so glad that they have their boys and that they own them, basically.
Ew.
And I'm like, I would love to see what the boys say about that.
Yeah.
Because I doubt they would feel this. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, Kendra's cool.
Yeah.
So Tessa and Rocky decide that they are not wanted and they leave the party. And Kyndra and all the mean girls are catcalling after them.
Why do they dislike Rocky so much? I know that there's like a little bit of a history with Tessa, but I feel like at this point we haven't seen anything with Rocky. Like they're like going hard on Rocky.
For some reason, when I watched this the first time, I always thought Rocky was the new girl, but I don't think she is. I mean, I always got that vibe, and now watching it, I'm like, they don't say she's new, so she's not.
No, and she had the relationship with Brianna before.
Yeah.
Right?
You're right. Yeah. For some reason, it just gave new girl vibes. Like, that's why they didn't like her. Like, I think I was just trying to create, like, a reason. But there really isn't one. They just don't like her.
And maybe, like, Rocky just wouldn't play into this like mean girl, you know, like stereotype, and was just like wanting to remove herself, but was still wanting to like be friends with this group of friends. So maybe they just didn't like her because she was she just wouldn't follow what they said.
And she is really sweet. I don't know. I think she's a sweet girl.
Yeah.
She proves to be like such a good friend in this season.
I just don't understand why Kyndra invited Tessa in the first place. It was obvious that Tessa was going to bring Rocky.
For the show.
I know. For the show.
TV.
For the show. But in context of the plot they were giving us, it doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense, yeah.
Yeah, agree.
I wonder how long they were actually at the party, too. You know, like how long did that all take place? Because it felt like 5 minutes.
It felt really quick, yeah. But they were probably there for, I don't know, an hour.
That would be horrible.
I know. I'd be like, they're not paying me enough for this shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to play The Sims.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going home playing The Sims, watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So after the girls leave, Kyndra and Cameron start flirting, and they're talking about pushing each other in the pool, and I think we're supposed to think it's cute, but it's just weird. And then we get a scene at Jessica's house, and it's with our girl Alex H. And she asks Jessica how Cameron is, and Jessica says, "Oh, you know, he's great fun." And Alex says, "I'll give you that. He's really hot, but he's kind of stupid." Like, that's our girl always telling us the truth, you know?
Yeah.
And Jessica says, "No, he's really not. He's not dumb, but everyone thinks he is. And I don't know which is worse." Like, he's super not, he's not dumb. Everyone just thinks he is.
He just looks dumb, guys.
Yeah.
And then Jessica says he's just a nice guy. And she says Kyndra is so butthurt that Cameron is hanging out with her. And Alex says that's weird because she never pictured Kyndra to be the type of girl to care. And Jessica says it's because she wants Cameron to want her, and she's butthurt that Cameron wants Jessica. And I agree. It pisses her off so bad that Cameron's like dating an older girl. And back at Kendra's barbecue, everyone's in the pool, and Kyndra and Cameron are flirting, and MTV takes advantage of all the looks back and forth, and we get another edited scene of that before we see Kellen and Cameron golfing. And Cameron tells Kellen that everyone bailed at Kendra's at around 10, and then asks him to guess where he woke up. And Kellen guesses Jessica's, but Cameron tells him Kendra's.
Where were Kendra's parents?
Thank you.
Like,
Yeah.
Like, she could just have him spend the night. My parents would be like, "Are you on crack?" Like, what?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they were out of town. I don't know.
They never explain where the parents are. I had this problem last season with Jessica and Jason because they were always sleeping at each other's houses. And I'm like, you're 5 years old. Why are your parents letting you do this? I didn't have a boy sleep at my house until I was well into my 20s. And even then, he slept on the couch. That's how much, like, I did not want my parents to know that I was having sex.
Same. I have kids, and I'm still like, no, it didn't happen that way.
Yeah, he slept at my house sometimes because he worked at Starbucks, and it was closer to my house was closer to his Starbucks than his house at the time. So sometimes he would literally just sleep at my house, and he would sleep on the couch.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
We would hang out all night, and then I would go to my room, and he would sleep on the couch.
I never had a boy spend the night till I was not living with my parents at all. I would be too scared even of that, honestly.
Of sleeping on the couch?
Yeah, of like having him there when I wake up and stuff. I don't know, like with my mom in the same, I don't know.
And the funny thing is, like, I lived with my parents, and he did not. I would sleep over at his place all the time, and my parents knew that's where I was, but I still would never at my house. Like, and obviously I was not sleeping on the couch over there. Like, you know.
You weren't?
Yeah.
Sorry, mom and dad. But like, I still would never at my house. Like, the thought of it makes me like, so like anxious.
Same.
I just don't know. No.
Totally. I wonder if it's like a son and daughter thing, because like, I feel awkward even having like my boyfriend sleep over sometimes. I mean, we've been together for 9 years, so it's like it has been a very long time, but like sometimes I will still get that feeling.
Yeah.
But like way back then, even sleeping over at my boyfriend's house, his parents would just be like, "It's cool. Like, you can stay here." I'm like,
You're like, no.
You don't like, should I though? I'm like, it should be weird.
I think it is a girl-boy thing because his mom lived out of town and we would go visit his mom and like stay at her house and like we would sleep in the same bed there. Like, and that wasn't weird to me, but like my house was just an off limits. Like, no, you're not. Like, and he didn't even like, he never gave me shit about it. Like he never was like, that's weird. Like, why do you care? Like, he was just like, okay, like he didn't like, and I think he might've been afraid of my dad a little bit, but.
That's funny.
Dude, I would treat my future kids the same, I think. I don't want them thinking it's okay for their boyfriends or girlfriends to be sleeping over.
Certainly not in high school. Like, I don't know. After high school, we can talk, but like...
I'm not even going to let them stay on the couch. No freaking way.
So, Liz and Jill, you have kids. Is that a hard no?
In high school. Let's talk about high school.
It's a hard no in high school for me, for sure.
Yeah, I don't want their girlfriends like staying over. That's just weird. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Jill, you have boys.
I do. I have 2 boys.
Yeah, Liz has 2 girls.
I have 2 girls.
So that's really good perspective that you both said no.
Yeah, and it's not fair that like with a girl it's like, oh no, the boy can't sleep over, but then with a boy it's like, yeah, whatever,
It's so weird.
It is. It's so weird. Like they're still 15 years old or 16.
Because the theory is like girls get pregnant, but like
boys don't do that.
Right. Like,
like you're not involved.
I know, like they don't have anything to do with it. Like
right. Yeah. Yeah. It just happens.
Yeah. So silly.
I couldn't believe at the end of the scene when he just straight up throws the golf club like on accident, but it just like goes flying at the end of the scene. Did you guys notice that?
No, I didn't.
You didn't? Oh my gosh, yeah, he swings the golf club and it just goes. Like he just lets it go.
Oh my
god. And then he's just like, oh well. And I was just like, well, that's the whole like he's not dumb but everyone thinks he is. Like that was pretty dumb in my opinion. So you should go back and watch that, yeah. So that golf club had to land somewhere. So I'm like, hopefully it didn't hit anybody.
Did anybody yell 4?
No.
Oh, God. Oh, Cameron. So the next scene is Rocky's house, and Rocky asks Tessa, so how was that yesterday? Because, of course, we have to recap what we just saw, even though they were both there. And Tessa says that she realized why her and Kyndra weren't friends, and it's because they don't have the same morals or priorities. And Rocky says it was just a little bit awkward for her liking, and then they talk about the 2 different cliques. And Tessa says that's their entertainment, to talk about other people. And Rocky says it's frustrating and everyone is afraid of Kyndra. I mean, I'm afraid of Kyndra.
Same. Yeah. How'd you guys feel about Tessa being the narrator of the show? How'd you feel about her this episode?
I thought she was really bland, honestly.
Yeah,
just like she did not make a good first impression as like I'm the main subject. Like it just didn't click for me.
Totally.
I wonder how we would have felt if it had been like a Kristen season and they had made like Kyndra the narrator.
I wonder that all the time because it seems so odd for them to like have Tessa be the narrator because she's not someone who's super chatty either in these scenes. So she does come off like really quiet and a little bland, but if we had a Kyndra season, like if she was the narrator, they'd have to make her look nice, right?
They probably didn't know what they were looking at yet, though, because they probably picked her after they shot everything, looked at it, and was like, what's the story? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they were like, it's kind of Tessa's story, kind of, because she's connected to Chase.
Kind of.
And I don't know. If I was an MTV producer and I had season 3 in my hands, I would have probably, well, I would have made the show about Jessica, but that's just me. But
justice for Jessica.
Yeah. Season 3 would have been Jessica's season. And it would have been fantastic. But of course they didn't do that. But I think I probably would have chosen Kyndra or Cami because it's just more interesting.
You know who I would have chosen, and I don't know if they would have built more story around her, but it would have been Brianna, because it would have just been such a natural transition from Lauren being her sister to her now being the narrator. And maybe she's not like involved in the drama, but for it to all be happening around her, I feel like would have been really interesting.
I wonder if MTV maybe like had that in the back of their mind, like maybe she could be the most natural transition.
Yeah.
And I wonder if maybe her scenes didn't work because I remember watching it and her not being a favorite.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, she wasn't likable.
Yeah.
And I think that was, like, part of it. Like, I think they probably did want her to be the narrator. And they were like, this isn't going to work. She's not likable at all.
Totally. How freaking cool would it have been, though, to have
I know.
Lauren be like, you know,
Yes.
she comes home, she's like, hey, sis.
Yeah.
And then it transitions to Brianna.
Yeah, that would have been really cool. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tessa's so random. Like, we don't know anything about her, where she comes from. It is really random.
And she's not likable either, in my opinion.
She's not.
No.
You don't really? You guys don't think she's likable?
She's one of those, like, girls to me that just, like, can only talk to guys but not talk to girls. And, like, that bothers me so badly.
Okay. Okay. I get that.
I don't think you got anything from her. Like,
Yeah, same.
I didn't get I couldn't form an opinion because I couldn't get anything. So it was just so odd that she's the narrator.
Yeah.
She's so pretty, though.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Like,
She
she's
is,
so gorgeous.
yes.
Like, the camera loves her.
Yeah, she is gorgeous.
Yeah, but she is very, like, bland. And, like, they tried to make the whole, like, chase thing happen.
Yeah.
And it, like, wasn't happening.
That felt forced.
Yeah, and there was, like,
Yes.
there was, like, no chemistry. And they were trying to make fetch happen this season. And it just wasn't happening. Unfortunately.
Agreed.
Then we see Kyndra and Cami, and it's their version of the recap of last night. And Kyndra says, last night was fun. And Cami asks her if she hooked up with Cameron. And Kyndra says, maybe, maybe not. And then Cami just kind of looks at her, and Kendra's like, you always know. And Cami says, you want to know why my hair is so big? It's full of information. Cami says she thinks Cameron has always had a crush on Kyndra, and then Kyndra says he's a cutie and asks if him and Jessica are still together. And Cami says, it doesn't matter. And Kyndra says, does she like him? Because if she does, it makes it more fun. And they both laugh, and then Cami says, it's the thrill of the hunt.
See, this is where it's like they really lean into, like, playing up the bitchiness. It's like that last line was so unnecessary, but she's like, I'm just gonna go for it.
I know that it doesn't matter, but it did remind me of that scene of Alex M saying basically the same thing about Jason and Jessica in season 2.
And we thought it was mean back then.
Yeah, it is mean.
Yeah.
But I guess, I don't know, girls in high school, you really, like, you do so much stupid shit for a boy.
Yeah.
For a boy who's failing biology, you know? Like,
and that you, like, look back on Facebook and you're like, oh my God, this is embarrassing.
Yeah, what a loser. What a loser. I know.
They're balding.
I know.
And it's like, why?
They're fat, balding, and have like 9 kids. Like, it's just...
bad tattoos. And you're just...
Why did I care so much?
Exactly.
Why did I spend hours straightening my hair and doing my makeup for this Joker?
Yeah. You're like, that's who I wrote aim away messages for. Like, that's, all that time spent. Like, he's going to read into this music lyric and know it's about him.
Going to the grocery store with mom, and then you put, like, girl at the rock show. You know? I miss that so bad.
God, me too. Gen Z could never. They could never deal with that pressure.
No.
Or, you know, on MSN, you would, like, log out and log back in. So your little icon would, like, show up again and be like, oh, I just got here. It's trying to talk to me.
Yeah, just the thrill of messaging your crush like, hey, sup, and then being like, nothing much, you.
Yeah. Like the little dots. You see the little dots of them typing and you're like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then after the nothing much, you like are just radio silent because you have nothing to say to each other.
Yeah.
Like, just sitting here, LOL, and then nothing.
If I got a nudge, my heart would beat so fast.
And then their little door would slam, and you're like,
yes!
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe it was just a bad connection. They're going to come back.
Yeah.
gotta go playing video games. Oh, man. I miss that. There will be nothing like AIM ever again. Like
No.
instant messenger.
Mm-mm.
Like
No.
it's just because people don't sit around on their computers all day like we all did.
Exactly.
We have
Right.
phones now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we carried in our pocket. Yeah.
No one has a computer room. Like, I feel like that was a
No.
thing. Having a
Yes.
computer room. in
I
your
remember
house.
my best friend in elementary school, her house, we would spend all night in her computer room, like when we would have sleepovers,
Mhm.
like on freaking Neopets. Like, what were we doing? Like,
I
oh, God.
know.
So the last scene of the episode is Jessica and Courtney on the beach, and Jessica and Courtney are talking about how hot Cameron is once again, and Courtney asks her if he has made her cry yet, and Jessica says no, and Courtney tells her she's much happier around him than she was with Jason. And then we just get a nice shot of Cameron and his abs as the credits start to roll.
I like how Courtney says yet. Has he made you cry?
I
yet?
know.
Yeah. Made her cry yet.
What a sad question.
Yeah. This episode just feels like a whole different show. I'm excited to like actually watch it through and like talk about everything that happened. So maybe I'll remember it this time since we're talking about it, because I tend to not remember it. But I don't know about Laguna Beach season 3. It starts off with a bang. I'll say that.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of us also at this point like jump to the hills, and the hills
Yeah.
were
Yes.
so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So then when you watched Laguna Beach like season 3, you were like, oh, I'm so mature. Like I'm
I
dealing
know.
with
I know.
Heidi and Spencer.
You're like, right
and
now
Brody.
I have a job
Yeah.
at Teen Vogue.
Exactly.
And you're like, I need to focus on that.
Exactly. Lauren is ironing her skirt with a straightener.
Yes.
That's what we're doing.
Did you guys have a favorite outfit this episode?
I totally forgot we were even doing that. It being such a different show.
I know.
So
I know.
no, I did not.
I know. I remembered like last minute and wrote something down, but I liked Rocky's barbecue outfit with her low-rise jeans and lacy purple crop top. I thought she looked like a rock star. Like they were, her jeans were so low.
They were, yeah.
I loved it.
I loved, 2005 Jill loved Cami's outfit when Cami and Kyndra were shopping. She had this like red satin shirt,
Yes.
and with the belt that made absolutely no sense.
No
the
sense.
belt that just like sat in the middle of your stomach, like under your boobs. It served no purpose at all, but it was there. It
was
a
so
statement.
2000s. Yeah, I noticed that shirt too. I was like, it's all the silkiness of it. Yeah.
Yes, and the puff sleeves, and then she had like these flare jeans on, and I was like, this is so 2000s.
Yes.
I liked Kendra's inappropriately deep V-neck.
I was
I
just
thought
so
it was
shocked.
really cute. Yeah, I agree. She definitely couldn't wear that to school, but I liked it.
No, I couldn't have worn that out of the house. My dad would have been like, little girl, I don't know where you think you're going. Did anyone have a favorite moment?
I said mine was Alex H. He's really hot, but he's kind of stupid. Like
So good.
that whole conversation
I know.
is my favorite.
She's such a true blue friend. She'll tell you like it is.
Yes.
I love seeing Alex M, Alex H, Taylor, and Jessica come together, and watching them like with Ashley Simpson's LOVE in the background was just like so awesome to me.
I liked Cami's Mean Girl reference because I live for a Mean Girl reference. But now I'm going to go rewatch this episode because I think it's probably going to be Cameron throwing the golf club.
The golf club. Oh, yeah, you gotta see that.
Because I think that's going to replace. Yeah.
I loved how Liz and Adrian, yours had to do with none of the new cast. But mine didn't either. My favorite one was just Alex saying, I don't want to be mean, but I saw a picture of Lauren and Jason and they gained weight.
I don't want to be mean, but I'm going to.
I don't want to be mean, but Lauren and Jason got fat. Which is funny to think about because that was like when The Hills was shooting, and I didn't think that.
No,
not at all.
Never.
And I'm like, where is she getting that? But like sometimes Facebook pictures and stuff and like MySpace pictures, like they weren't great. They weren't flattering. So
But it does go to show too, like how warped our idea was like of like what fat and skinny was.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
You know, and we talked about this before. It's still like in our heads now in our 30s, but like that was so like you put on
Yeah.
like 5 pounds and you were considered like fat.
I know.
back
And
in
I
the
mean, she
day.
doesn't say they're fat. She does say that they gained weight, but
Okay, but what is that?
It's insinuated, yeah.
I'm trying to be nice. I can't believe we're doing season 3, and I can't believe
know.
we had Jill with us. That's so exciting.
Yes.
So
It was
much
so
fun.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. That was awesome, and I would love to have you back on sometime for, I know you said The Hills is your favorite thing ever, so.
Yes, it's like my children, the hills.
Thank you for tuning in to Millennial TV. You can follow us on our Instagram at Millennial TV. That's Millennial TEAV on Instagram and on Reddit. If you have any suggestions for our podcast, you can always send us an email at millennialtv@gmail.com. And please don't forget to give us a follow on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. We are Candace, Liz, and Adrian, your Millennial TV hosts, and we will see you next week.